Hey, I'm Juha Koponen. I'm the co-founder with swap.com. And we go for the clothing and apparel market. And that's a very linear market right now. So it's 85% of the clothing that people don't use that goes to into landfills in the US. In the Europe, it's 75% that gets burned for heat. A little bit goes still to landfills as well. But there is $100 billion opportunity in the US, another 100 billion euro opportunity in pre-owned clothing. So we go for that. And we are an online consignment store for pre-owned items. We operate in the US. How it works is that our sellers, they put their items they don't need into a box, ship it to us. We'll go through the box, we'll see if we can accept the item, we check for the quality, we photograph them, then we list their data, the size and brand and so forth. And then our customers come to our site, swap.com. They can enjoy the big selection. It's a huge selection, over 1 million items, great prices, and we serve them very fast. And one of our customers said that, yeah, this is like an Amazon, but it's just cheaper and you have more selection in clothing. Well, great. And we have offices here in Helsinki, development, and then Woodridge near Chicago for our operations. We launched 2013, raised over 50 million in funding, so a good amount. And it's a sizable operation. We sold about 8 million pieces already, and calculating that it's a saving of 200,000 tons of CO2 if those weren't purchased as new. And what we really have been focusing is to develop an industrial scale operation for pre-owned item, especially clothing processing. Because now we are touching the product. We need to have people there to do this work, but we need to be very, very efficient in doing this. And I can brag that we are probably the most efficient in the world here. Then there are things like we're using machine learning, automatic neural networks to identify what parameters the product has directly from the pictures. All right, now going to the actual topic, so the challenges and learnings. So we've been growing fast. We were among the 5 fastest growing clothing retailers in the US, 2016. We've been going for the next step, investing to the growth, but sometimes we were doing that with negative gross margins as well. So we burned a good amount of money. About a year ago, we saw that we need to stop this and do something else and actually get to the profitability. So we had to make a turnaround, included layoffs, included savings in all fronts. And we changed our commercial model with the sellers as well, many other things. We also moved to a smaller facility. It's still pretty large though. But the good thing is that now gross margins are well positive, growing with and turning profitable this year. Also raising then some amount of funding, which is we don't need as much as we used to do. Then, going to the learnings and challenges. I have like 4 points here. So one is this, that the real world problems require scale, and I come from like building this up ourselves. And the costs big money, and then you need to be aware with your team that how much risk can you take, you and your team. That's the first thing. Second one is that the commercial investor will not fund solving the sustainability issue. That's just what it is. They are in business of making money. And okay, they will fund very eagerly then the business case and the market opportunity that these circular economies present. So that's the good thing. But these things need to be separated very clearly by the entrepreneur. Because if you then come to the moment that, okay, I need more money. It's not your circular economy thing that will save you, but it's your business case which will save you. Okay, and then doing good helps. Like we heard, there's lots of impact investment companies coming, so you actually can get to the focus of companies with this. But on the other hand, you then will compete lots of like non-circular, like normal businesses, but very scalable, have very good profits. And you just need to And this is a plus, a little bit plus for you with some companies, and with some companies just don't care. But it's good to understand that. The final 4th point is that when you align your business with the sustainability goal, then you can sleep well, and sell more, because then you're doing one more good thing. And it's always when you start to monetize your thing, there's always the idea that, okay, let's do this or that. And there's the temptation to go to the dark side, if I say. But okay, those are the 4 learnings. Thank you.
We have a lot of questions for you, Juha. Be prepared. Anything from the panel before I go to the audience-driven ones? Okay, so maybe personal question first. I think, so how have you used your background as a data scientist when working at swap.com?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I'm a PhD with nuclear physics turned to a clothing salesman. Short story. But I guess, I mean, I found the enjoyment in developing all these things, like the technology, and we're in e-commerce where you need to look lots of data. What is selling, what marketing methods work, and what products do the customer need. So it's actually, there's lots of this in the day.
Okay, so what happens with the clothing after you sold it to your customers? So what do you do with the unsold ones?
Well, unsold ones, what we've seen is that compared to the physical store, we can actually keep the product on the site much longer. It's in the racking you saw. It can stay there for a longer period of time. Of course, at some point, it makes probably sense to sell it to somebody. And this is good quality clothing that if we would sell it to somebody, it would be basically to the like a physical store, thrift stores and places like this. There is a big industry of people who sort this clothing stream to different sort of things. One part goes to recycling. There is then the export market, but then there is actually increasing physical store chain where it goes.
So what is the difference to traditional old cloth collection besides the traditional model shipping the clothes to low-income countries?
Well, I mean, I guess now what we are doing and seeing is that we are actually capturing some of that product which used to go to those countries and putting it back to the US consumer. And I think that can happen in Europe as well, when you can present the products in a way that the consumer can see, okay, this is my size, this is the brand I want. There is lots of good stuff there, but the problem has been before that in the physical thrift store, it doesn't always look nice. Some of them do look very nice, I say that, but not always. And then you can't find what you need. The sizes, it wasn't the right and so forth. So I guess that's the, if I'm responding that well.
Okay, I have one more question. So let's say I put this dress to be recycled. So, the items, how many times do they return? So, let's say, do you guys know that, this is the 3rd time or the 5th time or the 6th time?
Sometimes we do, but I mean, there is no like a unique identifier in the clothing. I mean, we can say from the pictures that with the systems we have that this is the same than that, but really saying that, okay, it's the same exact item, we don't know. Okay, if we know that we sold you the one and you send it back, then we sort of can know it. We are seeing those items coming back sometimes, and then we sell it. I even bought the shirt, and then I showed it to my wife and said, I was selling this in swap.com and now you bought it. So.
Okay. Okay, one more for you. So, talk a little bit about the competition. So how do you see the competition?
There is competition, especially in the luxury goods. And because, I mean, that's, if your unit price is like $100 or $500, then you don't need to put the effort in the actual processing of those. And then there are good companies in the, let's say, $20 to $50 segment. We are at around the mass market where there's actually the biggest quantity in about $10 segment. And we don't see much competition there. One reason is that it's hard to process those items profitably.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Juha. Wonderful. Big hand.